Now, they're trying to make it sound bigger than it is, because it's not like they're actually voting on impeachment right now, but they are taking steps in that direction, and that is a big change. Here is Nancy Pelosi's announcement.
They asked Benjamin Franklin, "What do we have, a republic or a monarchy?" Franklin replied, "A republic if you can keep it."
Stop it there. Before we get to what she's actually saying, I have to just point out that Benjamin Franklin said, "We have a republic if you can keep it," and Nancy Pelosi pretty much replied that we can't keep it, so we're going to try for the third time to remove the sitting president who was duly elected by the American people. So I love when Democrats invoke the Founding Fathers. They despise the Founding Fathers. They hate everything they stand for. They call them white, racist, men, sexist, bigoted, idiots, awful, terrible people, except when they want to use one or two quotes. And the best part is they use the quotes about how we need to protect our republic, while at the same time they are completely undermining our Republican form of government. But Pelosi, she doesn't just stop there with quotes of Benjamin Franklin. She goes on to invoke the Constitution, you know, that document she loves so much.
Our responsibility is to keep it. Our republic endures because of the wisdom of our Constitution, enshrined in 3 co-equal branches of government, serving as checks and balances on each other. Our
wonderful Constitution that we love so much, our wonderful checks and balances, which is why we've outsourced all legislative power to the federal administrative state and to the Supreme Court, and why we love the Constitution so much. That's why we have repeatedly infringed on your Second Amendment rights. We basically don't even acknowledge your Second Amendment rights. It's why we're infringing on your First Amendment rights. It's why we constantly infringe on your 9th and 10th Amendment rights. And it's why we've invented a completely fictitious constitutional right to redefine marriage at the federal level and to kill babies in the womb. Because we love the Constitution so much, that's why we ignore all of the rights and structures of the Constitution, and why we completely rewrite it without going through the formal process of rewriting it and invent rights that don't exist. Because we love the Constitution so much, because we're the left, because we're the Democratic Party. Great job, Nancy. Bring up the Founding Fathers and the Constitution. 2 things that you hold in such high esteem, and that I'm sure would hold you in such high esteem. She then finally gets to the meat of the announcement, and she gets to the horrible, terrible, nefarious actions undertaken by the president that call for impeachment.
The actions taken to date by the president have seriously violated the Constitution, especially when the president says, Article 2 says I can do whatever I want. For the past several months, we have been investigating in our committees and litigating in the courts, so the House can gather all the relevant facts and consider whether to exercise its full Article 1 powers, including a constitutional power of the utmost gravity, approval of articles of impeachment.
It is a constitutional power of the utmost gravity, which is why we have been clamoring to use it since before Donald Trump even got elected, or once he was elected but wasn't sworn into office, and we've been doing it for the past 3 years. We take it with such seriousness and such gravity that we already clamored to impeach him for a scandal that didn't really exist, which is colluding with Russia, that we found out wasn't true because of the Bob Mueller investigation for 2 years. And then we talked about doing it because he slept with a porn star and paid her off, and they said it was a campaign finance violation. And even though Barack Obama committed egregious campaign finance violations, we were going to impeach Trump for it. And then we're going to do it because of a phone call that President Trump allegedly had with the Ukraine. Well, actually, he did have the phone call, but because of the allegations from the phone call, we'll get to that in just a second. And so we're taking it really super duper seriously. So we're going to then, with such gravity, we're going to exercise our impeachment powers. By the way, the phone call happened in late July. This came out in August, late August, there was some trouble. September, there was some trouble. So it isn't that they've been following these very formal, serious, grave processes for years and years. You just got a phone call that you think you can use to impeach him 2 months ago. That's the gravity. Thank you for tuning into the Daily Wire, one of the fastest growing conservative media outlets in the country. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you don't miss out on any of our content.